Hi, I'm Sam, one of the founders of Sipsmith, and behind these wonderful blue doors lies one of London's little secrets, little gems, the first copper distillery in London for nearly 200 years. Come and meet Prudence and the Sipsmith team. Hi, my name's Sam and I'm one of the founders of Sipsmith Independent Spirits, based here in Hammersmith, West London, where we've set up the first copper distillery in London for nearly 200 years. And this is Prudence herself. I'd like to introduce you to her. She's one of the first members of the team here. In a minute I'm going to be giving you a little bit of an intro as to how she works and how we make the gin, because we're really proud of the process and everything she's about. We'd looked a little bit in the past, a little bit of history as to, the gin distilleries of London and its checkered history, if you like, because 1 in 4 habitable structures in the 1700s had its own distillery. But since then, there's been a wondrous turnabout and there's some really high quality distilleries that have opened up in London. Sipsmith, obviously, we think being the latter of those. The key thing we found with our distillery is that it's copper. Setting up a copper distillery has real, genuine, absolute benefits, because when you heat copper as an element, it absorbs the fatty acids and the sulfurs that are prevalent naturally in ethanol. So you're immediately going to get a far more rounded, smoother effect. And it's no surprise why whiskey, brandies and eau-de-vie distilleries are in fact copper. Nightmare to keep clean, but a beautiful outcome of the spirit when you work with it. So what we do is we put actually part of the heart cut of a vodka that we make into the charge of the still. She's 300 litres in here, and in there we'll put a 60% solution of our barley spirit, and in there we'll put our botanicals. Now the types of botanicals that we use, no secret or surprise, juniper berries, coriander seed, orange and lemon peel, angelica root. The spices we have are cinnamon and cassia bark, and we have 2 roots as well. We have a licorice root and an orris root. And so those will go in the night before. This is a steam jacket surrounding the base, the belly of the charge, which we heat up the night before to about 75 degrees, so that overnight for 12 hours there's a residual warmth that gets into the spirit and opens up the cracks of the botanicals and allows for the oils and the essences to really seep in with a warm overnight maceration. In the next morning we come in, turn up 2 of the heating elements in the back here, and it's all about the speed at which you distill. The slower you distill, the more you allow the real congeners and the real flavours to behave at the time and the temperatures at which they would typically like to be distilled over. Distill it too fast, it'll all come over at once. The objective being, when distilling gin, that all your botanicals will come over like carriages on a train arriving in a station. So one after the other after the other. And so we do that really, really slowly. Also, when we do it slowly, we get this thing called reflux. So spirit comes up and then comes back down again. It condenses back down before it's reached all the way through. When it reaches the critical point, the vapour passes up through this helmet and the swan's neck and shoots straight over to the condenser over here, where we collect it into the spirit safe. And the first thing that comes over is the heads, and we reject those, and we're left with a beautiful bit of the heart that comes over. And the first bit that comes over is this wonderful citrus notes, these orange and lemon notes that come over, followed swiftly by these wonderful spices that come through, the dryness of the angelica root, and we really do get a layering in the tank of all the different botanicals and flavours that we try to collect that goes into our award-winning gin, Sipsmith London Dry. This really needs no introduction. A London Dry gin that's genuinely made in London, with 10 classic botanicals. And we make this, what's really unusual about this is that we are one of the only gins in the world that actually make this in a one-shot distillation. So in other words, we don't make a concentrate, we use it in a one-shot, so the botanicals we put in are enough for the actual spirit that we get out the other end, rather than stretching it with undistilled neutral spirit. We get a lot more aroma from that, a great deal more character and complexity, and that carries beautifully in a gin and tonic. And I think it's probably time that we taste it, son. Spot on. This is at 41.6% ABV, a strength that we found best framed and brought out all the different 10 botanicals that we have in here. First thing to note, on the nose, wonderful. I mean, it's definitely gin. That juniper's really carrying there. There's a wonderful top note of citrus. I'm also picking up some really nice top floral notes, that sort of violet floral notes that are definitely coming through from the Orris brew.
I think what I'd also say, what just jumps out of the glass is the intensity of the botanicals. And that is down to the one-shot distillation. Normally when you're doing this and you're creating a concentrate, you still get flavours and you get a very good consistent product. But because we're doing this as a one-shot, where every flavour that goes into that has been married by heat as part of the process, the intensity of the flavours, and you just get it anywhere near the nose, just absolutely bursts out.
On the palate, beautifully smooth, no burn at all, wonderful sippable product, wonderful rich mouthfeel again, a lot of that sort of creaminess coming through from that heart cut that we've taken. But there's a nice wonderful front of those piney green grassy notes in the juniper with a top lovely balance of the citrus, almost sort of lemon tart-like notes that are really coming through. But I think the key thing is here it's balanced. It's not overpowered by one thing or another. There's a wonderful structure here that is there to really be able to carry wonderfully in a tonic. And that's really what we ultimately wanted. And of course, if it was in a straight martini too, it's going to work like an absolute dream. And so that really is the London Dry Gin. I think all that's left to say for us is here's to you, here's to Dwink, here's to Prudence.
To Prudence.